Hi folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. I hope today's card, headed by Canelo, is going to be a substantial improvement over yesterday's card, which, from the comments I've read, mostly people agreed with me that it was poor, substandard. Lots of other expressions can be used, none of which are helpful. Today I am actually looking forward to seeing how Martin Bakole and Efe Ajagba get on. And it's about Martin Bakole that this video is made. He weighed in at 299 pounds. Now, he weighed in at 310 pounds against Joseph Parker. I've made videos before. One of them's called Fitness or Fatness. Another one has got some sort of thumbnail with a really big fat boxer against a cut lean boxer. I know the old expression, light ain't always right, but we're really kicking the tail out of that now, with boxers reaching these ridiculous weights. Let's have a look at how Martin Bakole has grown. When he lost against Hunter, he weighed 256. Against Tony Yoka, he was 275. He then was 280, then 299 against Carlos Takam. So, he has some experience of winning and doing a good job at 299. Then he had what I thought was his best fight against Jared Anderson at 284. Now, for those people in Britain, 284 is just a smidge, 4 pounds over, the 20 stone mark. I mean, 20 stone, that's a lot of weight, right? I remember watching wrestling as a kid with Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks, and 20 stone was a very, very big man. And then he weighed 310 against Joseph Parker. And I know he wasn't in training, but the point is surely that a professional athlete who boxes for a profession, is it a good idea for them to balloon up between fights? Like, if you took a sprinter like Usain Bolt, if you'd gone to Usain Bolt in the off season and said, "Oh, Mr. Bolt, could you run 100 meters for us?" Yeah, he's like, "Well, I'm not in match shape, but yeah, boom." He would do some, really wickedly fast run. It's unlikely that he would have said, "Oh man, I'm 30 pounds overweight. I need a fat camp. I can't possibly run." I mean, we've talked about this before. Do soccer players or football players balloon up in the off season? They might put a bit of timber on. Depends on how much golf they're playing. But what is it with heavyweight boxers that seem to be able to, these days, because this didn't happen years ago, okay? It did not happen years ago. They put a little bit of meat on, then they worked the meat off. But now we're seeing people just ballooning. I understand Martin Bakole's got a big appetite. But, Jack Dempsey fought for food. These guys are fighting for Ferraris. There isn't a food shortage amongst these guys. Anyhow, how is this going to play out today? I remember against Carlos Takam, he wasn't particularly fleet of foot. Bakole's got fast hands. Deceptively fast, actually, all round. But do you think that this weight is going to play well for him against Efe Ajagba? Or do you think he's just going to be able to overpower Ajagba? Ajagba is not a huge heavy hitter. I think Ajagba's going to be basically like pellets off a charging rhino. He's going to be peppering Bakoli, and Bakoli's just going to like, look, you're not going to bother me. And he's just going to be too big and club him down? Or do you think, possibly, that at 299, he might be struggling a little bit if he can't get Ajagba out of there in the first 3 rounds? Do you think that dragging that 299 around might mean that, you know, round 4 could be like a watershed round, and then round 5, 6, 7, it could be all Ajagba? We're going to find out in not that many hours. But for me, I think that the weight, I don't know. I'm just one of those people that believes that pretty much anything over about 250 is sort of unnecessary. And if we look at great fighters of the past, like Lennox Lewis, the most Lennox came in was 250 something, right? And for much of Lennox's career, he was much lighter. And fighters, of course, going back in the past, you know, George Foreman in the 70s was nowhere near these monstrous weights. What do we think? What do we think generally? But what do we think about Bakole? What's your prediction about Bakole? Is 299 okay, fighting weight? Or is 299 carrying like 20 pounds too much? On the subject of losing weight, I will report out tomorrow on my efforts to get from 215 to 195. Taking it easy, taking it slow. Don't get your expectations up too high. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.